Hello and welcome to Nature and Environment. And today I'm going to talk about the built environment and particularly look at classic cars. The purpose of this presentation is to link the relevance of maintenance culture to the environment and the society as a whole. Before I delve into this presentation, I'll touch briefly on the history behind car invention. In 1886, there was a German inventor by the name Carl Benz. Carl Benz patented Carl Benz patent auto version. Afterwards, a number of individuals developed interest in the manufacturing of automobile or cars. Some from the western part of the world and others from Europe. Now, as you can see over here, there are a number of old cars here. Now, technically, we refer to all these cars as classic cars. Now, what do we mean by classic cars? Classic cars are generally defined as cars older than 25 years.
Hello.
This definition varies from one region to the other, one country to the other. But so far as this presentation is concerned, I will stick to this definition. So classic cars are basically broken down into two subsets.
Beautiful car.
The first one is the vintage car, and then the second one is the antique cars. The vintage cars are cars that were made before the Second World War. And the antique cars are cars that were manufactured before 1980.
How pass it to you?
Yeah, I inherited it. Yeah, he.
The next thing I want to look at is where do we get the materials or the raw materials for the cars? Basically, there are two materials
Oh, so you have to get.
that form
Inherited both. The red one's supposed to go to my nephew.
the cars. One has to do with metals, and then the second one has to do with
To me, I didn't have to pay.
rubbers or plastics.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So
So where again do we get these metals and plastics? Now let's look at the metals. The metals are part of the geology or the rocks. So in order to get the metal, then there's the need to break down the rocks in order to extract them. So traces of metals are obtained by breaking down the rocks to form the various forms of metal that we or one may be interested in. Now, the plastics are also gotten from the plants or the rubber trees. So, rubber trees are tapped and then the latest are extracted. They go through so many processes to form the various of plastics. It should also be noted that synthetic plastic can also be gotten from fossil fuel. These two materials. So, with the metals, as they form part of the rocks, in an attempt to extract them, we break down the rocks. However, in doing so, we are also destroying the water sources, and that will go a long way to affect the water bodies. The rocks are also known for a major carbon sink. Now, in breaking down the rocks, you are also exposing various carbon species into the environment. These carbon species increase global warming and impact heavily on the climate change effect. In addition, breaking down the rocks also destroys the agricultural lands, destroy the habitats being occupied by the animals. Now the animals then move to unknown areas, and a few of them are able to adapt to their new surroundings, while others get extinct.
It's a classic.
The case of the plastics, we continuously tap the latest from the rubber tree. So finally, most of these trees may end up being dead. Now, combining it with the destruction of plants through the breaking down of the rocks, we are ending up destroying or depleting the oxygen available to humans or in our environment. Now, let's look at it from the societal perspective. So, we lack the culture of maintenance. So, and this is something that cuts across all most human population, and it is I have seen, or it is likely found in the tropical countries or the third world countries. Now, what happened is that we are able to destroy easily by breaking down stuffs with the notion of what getting that thing in a form of what recycling, but recycling does not work in that way. For instance, if you have this car and then you have any of these cars and then you think you can use it for a very long period of time, or you can repair, restore, and then use it for some time, it's worth it. Or if you think you cannot use it any longer, but you can pass it to the museum management or the museum authority to handle this, it is great. But we destroy it with the notion that we get it back in the form of recycling, which is not the case. What comes back will not be, or the material that can be generated out of this recycling cannot be used for the same purpose as the original one, but it can be used for a purpose which is lower than the original product. Okay, so this is not only limited to automobile, but other built aspects of the environment, such as buildings, businesses, houses, and all that. Once we inherit this thing, or we are being passed on this legacy, or somebody give us a custody of this property, we are not, because we lack that mentality of what repairing, restoring, preserving, we are not able to what keep this property for long. Therefore, finally, we end up what destroying it. But it will surprise you to know that all these cars that I've assembled here is producing something surprising. What is it about? Now, they have put all together this anti-cars, right? Now, this anti-cars that you see over here, or this classic cars that you see over here, people have come from different places to come and have a look at it and then donate money to support the people, the sick people in our community. The same thing can also be done somewhere. If not in the same format, it can also help to generate money in another way, whereby used cars like this can be given to the museum, where people can go and then have a look at it, and then they will pay money, they will create employment through this, among others. Now, another useful thing that I want to talk about is that the unborn generation can also have access to what we are using now, what our previous generation was using. And in this way, we are going to have that continual way of what? Passing legacy from generation to generation. So, to summarize everything, the environment is very important to us. Now, resources are extracted from the environment in order to make this kind of what stuff. Therefore, it is very important that we adopt the culture of maintenance so that we can preserve this thing for long, for the benefit of the society and for the benefit of the nation. So, to summarize everything, the environment is very important to us. Now, resources are extracted from the environment in order to make this kind of what stuff. Therefore, it is very important that we adopt the culture of maintenance so that we can preserve this thing for long, for the benefit of the society and for the benefit of the environment. So, at this point, I want to say thank you for your time. Do subscribe, watch, and follow my page. Bye for now.
9003